Welcome again, everyone. I am Dr. Taylor, Director of Athletic Bands here at Colorado State University, and joining me today is our athletic band support specialist, Miss Megan Taylor. And between the two of us, hopefully we'll be able to answer any questions you may have today. I'm going to talk a little bit, give you an idea of what we're looking at for this fall, what you can expect as a future student or parent of a student. And if you do come up with any questions that you just really are dying to know the answer to before we get to our Q&A time at the end, don't hesitate to go ahead and type that into our chat. And Ms. Taylor will try to answer those as they come across, or if there's something that needs more in-depth, then I'll be able to handle those as well. So again, welcome here. This is our second sort of web video webinar about the marching band for this fall, and it's been great interacting with students and parents over the last month. A couple people joining us today that I've already met with, and so it's nice to kind of see you again and get a little more information. So some of you may hear some information that you've heard before. Some of this might be stuff that is touched on our website, but maybe you get a little more in-depth information. And again, if there's something that I don't address, absolutely feel free to chime in and ask those questions. To start off, I'd like to say, we are right now gearing up for the fall. It is a very active time for us. There's no real off season with a college athletic band program. We just had our color guard auditions this last Saturday. And those auditions, while the in-person auditions are complete, we are still accepting a few more virtual auditions from anybody that wasn't able to make it out to our in-person audition. So if that is you, by all means, please consider sending in your video soon. Drumline auditions are this Saturday. And again, we will extend virtual auditions beyond Saturday as well if you're not able to make it out to that. If you're a wind player auditions will take place the first day of band camp. And for that, it's really a chair placement audition. So that we know what part to put in players on and where you fall in the chair placement within the band. So anyone that is a wind player that shows up the first day of band camp and does all the other things they need to do, you're in. No worries there. Band camp this fall for all new members, I should say for all color guard and drumline members, that first day of band camp is going to be Thursday, August 11th. That will start at 8 a.m. in the morning. Then for all of our other wind players, that first day of band camp will be Saturday, August 13th. For those of you that are going to be living in dorms on campus this fall, the drumline and color guard, we will actually put you up in a hotel Thursday night and Friday night. It's it's walkable from our building. And then all of our band members are allowed to select the option to move in early to their dorms Saturday morning, August 13th, that first day of camp. So we'll have a registration time here at our building where everyone comes in, gets registered for band camp, gets fitted for uniforms, checks out instruments as needed, checks out flip folders, does all the things that we need to do. And then you've got about 3 hours to go and get moved into your dorm room before our first rehearsal Saturday afternoon. Lots of time, again, to take care of that. And by doing it that way, you avoid the rush when the rest of campus moves in and you're hunting for parking spaces and waiting on elevators. It's a lot easier to do it early the way we do it. I will say that those of you who do elect to move in early, there is an extra fee that is charged by university housing for that. Ms. Taylor, do you remember how much that fee was? I want to say it was $70 a day, maybe less than that, but it does include a meal plan. It does include campus dining. Even if you're not participating in the meal plan for the fall, it does include all of your campus dining when you move in early. So it's a lot cheaper than a hotel for sure. But that is something that does have to be covered by the students themselves. The band does not cover early move-in. Again, it's an option for you if you choose to do that. Regular housing move-in is later in the week. And unfortunately, we can't allow students out of rehearsal for that later move-in. So it has to be done in between rehearsals, after rehearsals, or it can wait for the following weekend right before classes begin. So happy to answer any more questions about that you may have, but I did want to get that information out there to you. Once our preseason camp begins, once we have everybody there starting the 13th, it is an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. day for the next week, with the exception of Sunday morning, the 14th. We give everybody off that morning, and we will start our afternoon rehearsal on Sunday, starting at 12:30. Otherwise, it's 8 to 8 every day through the following Saturday. I believe that would be Saturday the 20th. And then classes begin on Monday, the 22nd. So we have Sunday, the 21st off. They help everybody get settled, breathe a little bit before classes begin. And then regular rehearsal schedule begins with the beginning of classes starting on the 22nd. The band during the regular school year rehearses on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 4 days a week from 4:30 to 6 p.m. So it's an hour and a half rehearsal, 4 days a week. Certain Fridays, if we do not have a home game the next day, certain Fridays we will be letting the students out. And we'll know in advance when those are, so students can make plans to maybe go home or take some extra time those weekends. We will play our 6 home games. The first home game is the Saturday following Labor Day. There's a chance that some of those Saturday home games, 1 or 2, might get moved to a Friday because of opportunities to be on TV, nationally televised games. We don't know when those games are yet. We will let the students know just as soon as we know. And hopefully that will make for easier weekends, those days that we have a Friday night televised games. Great opportunity for everyone to watch their students and watch the band on TV when we get a chance to be there. We have a couple other performances that happen this fall. Besides those 6 home games, we will be performing at the Colorado Bandmasters Association North Regional Competition at Centaurus High School. That is just outside north of Denver. That is Monday, October 17th. There's an opportunity for anybody that lives in the area to come and watch the band perform at that. We'll also be performing at the Denver Parade of Lights. That will be the first weekend of December in downtown Denver. Colorado State is the only college marching band to march in the Denver Parade of Lights. So it's a great honor for us, and it's a lot of fun, and it's beautiful, and sometimes it's cold. This last time it wasn't so bad, but who knows what it'll be this next year. That's the majority of our performances. If we do have an opportunity to go to a bowl game, if our football team is selected for a postseason bowl, we would attend that. Bowls for Colorado State happen anytime between about December 14th and New Year's Day. It could be anywhere in there, depending on what bowl we are selected for. We do ask that students not make unchangeable, inflexible travel plans during that winter break, because it is a required performance. We need every student available because what we do for those bowl games is we will march a show that we've already learned, and we can't change it based on students being there or not being there. So we try to give everyone a heads up as early as we are able that whether or not we actually will be in a bowl game, and that's dependent on the football team's record. The football team has to win at least 6 games to be bowl eligible. While we hope for that, it's not always the case. So that's the majority of our performance schedule for the fall, and covers most of our rehearsals as well. Other things that would happen this fall would include our basketball band. Basketball band auditions happen early October. Everyone who is selected for the basketball band, those games start early November, and run through March. Students that are selected for that receive $20 per game that they perform at. And if they're selected for postseason tournament travel, the Mountain West tournament, which happens in Las Vegas, or NCAA tournament, which could be anywhere in the country. This year, we got to fly to Indianapolis with the team. Those trips are all expenses paid, completely covered by the university or the NCAA, and students receive a meal stipend to go on those trips as well. So it's a lot of fun, and it's free. We also have a second auditioned Pep Band that is for football, volleyball, and special events on campus, called the Presidential Pep Band. That Pep Band auditions will occur the first week of school, and they will be based on things that the students are already playing for the marching band. And if you're selected for that Pep Band, it's an extra $500 scholarship. But that's on top of the $615 scholarship that every person in the marching band receives. So opportunity for lots of scholarships by participating in the athletic bands, opportunities to participate in athletic bands almost the entire school year, depending on whether or not you elect to do the basketball band as well. So those are some of the opportunities that we have, some of the performances that we're looking forward to. Some other bits of information that will be important for you. If you are a wind player, we have school instruments to check out and rent to all brass players. And we do require all brass players to use our instruments. That includes trumpets, trombones, of course, mellophones, baritones, and sousaphones, because we have uniform looking instruments. All of our instruments are the same brand, make, and model, and they all look the same. There is no charge if you are a School of Music student, a music major. There is a small rental fee if you are not a music major. Miss Taylor, is that $50?
It is $50, and we don't charge music minors either. So
or music minors,
major or minor.
Okay, and so that is a $50 charge, but that rental goes for both marching band and basketball band if you continue to do basketball band as well. Piccolos, we also rent out piccolos to those that would like to use those. We do not march with flutes. We use piccolos only, but you are allowed to use your own piccolo if you would like. We unfortunately do not have any clarinets or saxophones to rent out to students, so those instruments do have to supply their own. Drumline and color guard, of course, those are provided. Flag equipment, rifles, and all of the drumline equipment as well is all provided for student use. I think this is probably a great time for any questions. If you do have a question, you can raise your little digital hand, and Miss Taylor will call on you to try to let me know that you do have a question.
Jill, it looks like you're ready.
Yes, I was going to try to raise my hand. So my daughter, Brooke, put on her form that she wanted to play clarinet, but she wants to switch to saxophone. So how does she let you know that?
Yeah, I can go ahead and just write that down and switch.
Okay, cool.
System. Yeah,
it's Brooke Berkey.
I believe I met Brooke just a day or two ago. I was out visiting. Yeah.
Yeah, she's talking about someone visiting your classroom, CSU. I didn't realize it was you, so that was really cool. She had lots of good things to say after that. So
yes, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the dates were going so fast.
Sorry, yeah.
So you said they can move in Saturday morning the 13th, and then they have practice that afternoon, like at noon or 1, or what do you?
It's 12:30. So yeah, our schedule every day of camp is basically 8 to 11:30, 8 to 11, and then we have a lunch break 11 to 12:30, and then we have a music rehearsal 12:30 to 4:30. Or sorry, 3:30. So anyway, yeah, it kind of falls with after the lunch break. Once they've registered for marching, once they've done the registration for marching band, they are free until after that lunch break that day. So the earlier you come in, the more time there is to move into the dorm after that.
Okay, so they register with you first and then move in.
That's correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I'm sorry, that registration?
Sorry, you broke up just a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. And what time is that registration with you?
The registration will begin at 8 a.m. that morning.
Oh, at 8 a.m. Okay, so register with you. Yeah.
And it's really just a matter of kind of walking through the room, hitting all the checkpoints on the way through. A lot of people can be in and out of there in 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. And will they get more information, like emails or something like that, to kind of guide them through?
Lots of emails. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Detailed schedules about preseason camp, including the registration, all that stuff will come through. Just wanted to make sure everybody knows what those key dates are, so we can go ahead and get those on your calendars.
Yeah, and you said they'll be in camp on the 13th, and then do they have the 14th off? or no?
Just the morning of the 14th.
Okay, morning.
We still practice that afternoon and evening. Yeah.
Okay, and then the following Sunday, they have all day off that day?
That's correct. That's right.
Okay, that'd be the 21st,
21st.
I guess. Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay.
I feel like I had other questions, but I can't remember them, but we'll see if anyone else has a question.
Absolutely. And I see Tatum has a question in the chat. And Tatum, for the pep bands, we do not use color guard for those auditioned groups. Oh, sorry, Tatum as well. But we do, so we do not, it's just for wind and percussion players. We just have the instrumentalists as part of those pep bands. It's a good question, though. And of course, if you do have any question, don't hesitate to raise your hand or put it in the chat box. A couple more things I do want to talk about. We are a couple of things that we're looking at happening in the next year or two. First off, and I don't know if we have any Drumline members here. We are in the process of purchasing a brand new Drumline. Those things have begun arriving in Miss Taylor's office already, which is exciting. We've bought several new marching mellophones. Lots of great things happening there for our band. We are also looking at some travel coming up here in the next couple of years, not this year, but within definitely the time that any of your students would be with us. We're looking at the possibility of marching some major national and international parades, like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Ireland, things like that. So we're definitely looking forward to some of those events, and anyone that's able to join us in the next couple of years will have an opportunity to join us for those. Or somebody, Megan, can you just make sure we got some sound coming through somewhere?
It was probably my typing, sorry.
I don't know. Maybe we could just mute everybody real quick. Okay. So then once we've got all the travel coming up, we also have opportunities to participate in our concert bands. Those of you that play instruments and interested in that, and some of those groups are actually looking at some travel coming up in the next couple of years as well. I know that our top Wind Symphony, the top auditioned concert band, is looking at some international travel to do some touring in Europe. So lots of opportunities to join the different bands to do a lot of group travel. As I mentioned, the basketball band travels to Las Vegas for the Mountain West tournament every year, and then NCAA tournament as available. Personally, as an undergrad myself, I very literally traveled the entire country as a member of the basketball pep band, which was a lot of fun. I visited lots of places, California to New York. I mean, just literally the entire country. So definitely something that is worth spending some time doing. And I will also say basketball here at Moby Arena, they call it Moby Madness, because it's a lot of fun. And it's the students are crazy, and they get really excited about the basketball team. And both our men's and our women's basketball teams very, very good here, and been a lot of fun to watch. So definitely strongly encourage everyone that is interested in participating in those things as well. Other questions? So basketball band. So we do an audition for the basketball band. We take 90 players for the basketball band, which is a significant portion of our win section. And we do that in what we call a group audition. And so we have everyone sit in the room together, and we play several things, many times actually, and we have people move down the line taking notes about the players. Once we've done that, then we select the people that will be in that group. Actually, in this last year, I will say 90 was what we were going for. We only ended up with 80 players. So everyone got selected for the basketball band this last year. And then we divide it into two bands, yes, based on sort of that chair placement. and those two bands alternated games. So we take the men's and women's schedule listed out, and then just do, it's our gold band and our green band, our green and gold band. So it's green band, gold band, green band, gold band, right down the schedule, so that everyone gets a nice even distribution of games. And then we allow students to sub out. So if someone can't make a game that they're assigned to, they ask someone from the other band to come play for them. And then that student, the one that comes and plays, gets paid for that game. So a lot of times students will swap games with each other to keep things even. Though I will say I did have one student this year, trombone player, who by subbing for other players ended up playing all but one home game this last year at $20 a game. It ended up being about 25 games at $20 a game. So she did very well for her spring semester, made a little extra scholarship money. A couple of things that are interesting and different about a high school band versus college band. Some of the things I've mentioned are the scholarships. We very literally pay the students to come and be in our band, and there versus in high school where you oftentimes have to pay an extra fee to be in the marching band. So there's no fees aside from maybe having to check out an instrument. We do require everyone to buy their own gloves if they're an instrumentalist. Everyone has to buy their own marching shoes. Color guard, there's a couple other garments that you have to buy, some of those base layer garments that you wouldn't share with other people. So some small things like that, but often like your marching shoes, if you take good care of them, will last you maybe all 4 years you're in college. So aside from that, though, everything is provided. We provide a meal on game days for the band. We provide everybody in the band with members' t-shirts, baseball caps, maybe a different kind of item sort of to commemorate the season this year. Everyone in the band got a really nice Under Armour backpack. And again, all of that's provided from the band. And there's no fundraising. So I was visiting several schools the last couple of days, and I heard several things. One school sells peaches, another school sells chocolate, another school sells butter braids, and another one sold mattresses. None of that. We don't do those things because the university does fund us, and we get a nice nice budget from them. So that's a great benefit. And again, if we do travel, if there's a bowl game postseason, all the basketball travel, that is all expenses paid. Hotels, food, buses, everything is provided, and no one is out of pocket for those things. Ms. Berkeley, or Ms. Berkey, I think you had another question.
I do. I wondered about the time commitment for the basketball band and the presidential band, both of those.
Right. So the presidential pep band usually operates within sort of that marching band sphere. On a game day, it'll be a group that runs out and does a pep rally somewhere on campus. There are a couple of things that they do on the Friday before homecoming, a special event here or there, but we try to limit the total number of performances that band does to just 10 in the semester, so as not to overtax them. And whatever time we have left over from doing some of those special events, then we fill the rest of it with some volleyball games. So I think this year we played at 6 volleyball games. It's not a huge time commitment especially for a $500 scholarship on top of that. The basketball band in particular is we do not rehearse. There's not like a set schedule of rehearsals. That band does a quick warm up and rehearsal 1 hour before the game. So most basketball games last about 2 hours. So we meet 1 hour before. So it's about a 3-hour commitment, however often the games are scheduled. It's usually about one a week starting in November all the way through March. It's really
Sorry.
Okay.
And do those bands, my daughter plays clarinet and saxophone, do they need either of those?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we use both of those. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Tatum's mom, yes. So when we have colder weather, we do have band warm weather coats. There are also raincoats in a pinch, which doesn't happen here a lot. We don't get a lot of rain at Fort Collins, but it does get cold, and we do provide those. Those are checked out each game and taken back up. I believe the color guard do have their own jackets, sort of a member jacket thing, and they do get together and purchase those themselves. But those are not necessarily a uniform item, but it's something that everybody in the Guard likes to have to sort of wear around. And color guards, I think, sort of the world over do that a lot. We do take care of the band. One thing that is very important to me is that we look after the health and safety of the group. It's not always hot here in the summer, but it sometimes does get hot. And so we are always watching that temperature. If it is a hot football game, we will take our jackets off in the stands. We have the ball caps to wear in the stand rather than wearing the shakos. And that helps keep the sun off everybody's head and face. And then when it gets colder, we do allow for layering under our uniforms. We give everybody in the band a white beanie that says CSU Marching Band on it to help keep their heads warm. And of course, we're always interested in making sure that we're not freezing. This year, something I did not mention, this is actually my first year at Colorado State. I'm not a Colorado resident by birth. I've moved here in August, and I'm originally from the South. So the cold was a bit of a shock, and I was told that it wasn't as cold this year as it has been in the past. So as weather continues to develop, we will always make sure that we're taking care of the students in that way as well. Students are hydrated well during game days. We give them lots of water. And again, it's a wonderful sit-down meal at the Student Center every game day that is catered. It's a buffet, and they can have as much as they can handle for a game day. And it's always a very well-balanced, just excellent meal. We also are able to take care of special dietary needs. Anyone that has any allergies, food allergies, or sensitivities to certain kinds of foods, we're able to have a special buffet table for those students as well, so that they are able to eat just as good a quality food as everyone else does. Skylar, great question. Time period to learn each show. It sort of depends. We do a different halftime show every home game. So that means we will learn 6 different shows this fall, and it all depends on the football schedule. So if we have 3 weeks from one home game to the next home game, we'll learn a show in 3 weeks. If like we do in October, have a game on the 15th and a game on the 22nd with just 1 week in between, we will learn the majority of that show that week. We'll probably start learning the music for that show early. Color Guard will start learning some of the work for that show earlier, but we'll learn the drill for it just the week up. That probably means that there won't be as much drill for that show, but that's to be expected. And then all the music, the music is always basically the same difficulty level regardless of the show, but we have lots of time to learn it when we do that. Rhythm section. We do not have a front ensemble. We do not have a pit like some schools do. We only have field batteries. So the snares, tenors, bass drums, and cymbals. And so we don't have any front silence. So everybody is a marching acoustic instrument player. And Ms. Berkey, did you still have a question, or?
I do.
Okay.
Let's see. I wondered if so the presidential band, you audition the first week of school. When do they get the music for that? Do they get it once they get to school, or do they get it before?
They'll get it during band camp. So all the instrumentalists will have a playing test, as I mentioned, the first day of band camp. That's based on our fight song, and that is available on our website ahead of time. Everybody can download that and start working on that ahead of time. For the presidential pet band, it will be the music that we start working on in band camp. That will be what's used for that audition, which would include all the rest of the school songs and most likely some halftime music as well.
Okay.
We have just a couple of minutes left here, so I'm going to drop the CSU Marching Band website in the chat just so that you can grab it before the meeting ends here. If you have any questions, my email address is all over the website. Feel free to send me an email. You can also find Dr. Taylor very easily on the website as well if you have a question specifically for him. Marley, yes, we will check out instruments the first day of band camp. That's one of the things you'll do at that registration time. Great question. All right, here is the Marching Band website coming at you. And then as we get a little bit we have a couple of games that we're still kind of clarifying the schedule on, but we should have that by the end of the month. Hopefully we'll be able to send out kind of a full schedule of our season, also some more information about preseason camp, including the full schedule for that as well. So just keep an eye on your email for that. We'll include, if you sign up for this webinar, your email address in our mailings from now, our email mailings from now on. So yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We're definitely happy to help assist with any, with anything that we can. In the last couple of minutes here, are there any final questions from anyone?
Well, great. Well, again, you can always email us. You can contact us through our website. If you or your student have not yet filled out the interest form or the commitment form for this fall, do make sure that they take an opportunity to do that, so that we have your email address and your mailing address, so that we can stay in contact with you this summer. The biggest thing for everyone to do is to be sure that Marching Band gets on your schedule when you register for classes this summer at orientation. My recommendation is make sure that your advisor that is registering you knows that you're doing Marching Band, and that's the first thing that goes on your schedule, to block off that time slot for those 4 days each week. That way you don't end up with class conflicts from whatever there might be. The great news, as a freshman, there's usually so many sections of every class that that's easy to pick and choose different times. If the course you want to take conflicts with Marching Band, usually there's 3 or 4 others that will work just as well. So just make sure you address that. Make sure that your advisor knows that that's what you want to do. It's MU 204, Music 204. Great. It's wonderful meeting everyone. Really look forward to seeing you sometime here in the future, being part of the Colorado State Marching Band. We hope to answer any more questions you have. And if we don't see you again before the fall, go Rams.